day, it's payday. Swipe my card, then I do the nay-nay. You talking to a late date. I want a Kanye, yeah, not the right day. So that's a no-no. I'ma make back and use a Volvo. This convo beat like Drake, ayy. I already know what you're trying to say.
Hey moms, how are you doing this great morning? I'm with Miss Kim Buchanan at the Morning Blend, and she has given us her time today. I'm just gonna move. We need to get you right.
Hello.
We need a, and she's given us her time today to tell us how she balances work and life. And let me say, she's the executive producer of the Morning Blend, so it's a true honor to be here.
Oh.
Executive producer, but most importantly, a CEO of 3 children. And her husband Rick, and that's a big job.
It is, and we added a dog about 3 years ago just to make it really fun.
I always say it's the kids, the dog, and the husband, so you're really a mother of 5.
Yes.
That's a lot going on.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that, yeah.
So I had the pleasure of running with you this morning and seeing a little bit of what you do, but give us a typical day of how it is, you know, leaving the family in the morning and coming here.
Well, I'm lucky because right now I just have one that gets up around a little after me. So I feel like I'm only responsible for one right now in the morning. Next year it'll be 2 because I have a son that's like switching to middle school. And my thing is, I feel like it's pretty easy if I get up on time. If I end up like hitting the snooze one too many times, then it's a problem. And my thing is I try really hard to make a gourmet breakfast for my son in the morning. I know it sounds silly, but it's just like, because I don't do well with dinners. I feel like breakfast is the thing to get them going, get them started. So actually I kind of slacked yesterday because I do a lot of food prepping on Sundays.
Oh wow.
So this morning I was making sausage, biscuit, and egg sandwiches for the week. So yeah, not that gourmet, but you know, at least it's a hot breakfast.
It is. And they always say you can never miss your breakfast, so you're teaching your kids something really, you know, and she works full time on top of it. What's my excuse? I don't know. So they're 13-year-old boy, 11-year-old boy, and 9-year-old daughter that you have. So no day is the same, but how do you balance it? I mean, you get a little you get prepared on the weekend, you said, but how have you ever had to do a major decision between the career balance and the home?
I mean, nothing that like really comes to mind. I think the hardest thing for any working mom is when you have a sick kid, and then it's like you and your husband, if you're lucky enough to have a partner. I mean, there's some single parents out there that don't, then you're like deciding who's gonna call in sick to be with the child today. So I think that's difficult, you know, and you just kind of, well, who did it last, or what meetings do you have today that you can miss, or that kind of thing. But I think a long time ago I thought, you know how they used to always say like, oh, women can have it all or whatever, and I'm like, I agree you can have it all, but I don't think you can do it all. I mean, if that makes sense, you know, it's like, I feel like I do a lot of things okay, but I don't like do any one thing great, you know?
It's like that, prioritizing your day and juggling it and not running around and not doing a million things where you can't finish anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes I can.
And I have people, I have moms that I associate with that I look up to that somehow I feel like they do it all, but they must have like some secret or something. I don't know.
They don't sleep.
Yeah, I know. I guess that's it. You know, I've been lucky because I've had my mom here the last like couple of weeks, and it's like, oh, like she's making meals, she's cleaning the house. It's like things that don't always get done are suddenly getting done. I'm getting kind of used to that.
And that's kind of nice to have around.
Yeah, right.
And you just shared with me that you got away for a little bit on a ladies' trip. How did you manage that? And where did you go?
It was not easy, I will say, and it was 20 years in the making. I hadn't done a girls' trip in 20 years.
Well deserved.
Yes,
well deserved.
Yes. And yeah, you know, we kind of threw a dart at a calendar and just picked a date, and then I just kind of made my husband like work around that with his schedule, and I knew that his schedule would be a little lighter that time of year. And then I was lucky enough for my mom to volunteer to come and help too.
That's
so
really cool.
Very lucky in that respect. Not everybody has that, but I do believe that whether you're taking a big trip to Florida or you're just going to get your nails done, that it's nice to have some me time or mommy time to really just step away, and then to feel good about yourself when you go back to your family.
I definitely agree with that.
That's something that's really important to me.
It is. Yeah, moms, they have so much going on and they do so much for everybody else that they really need to.
And if I have a friend that I feel like is struggling or not getting that, I try to gift them something like that when I can afford it. Like whether it's getting their nails done or maybe if I have a massage that I can give them that I was going to get, I try to do that because I just think it's really important. Cool. Yeah.
Rumor has it you're a good gift giver.
I try. Yeah.
What is the best gift you've received?
The best gift I've received? Oh. Well, you know, you love those little handmade cards from your kids and stuff, but like if we're really talking material things, for Christmas, my husband and children gave me wireless beats that are like awesome. To listen to music, and they fit around your ears, so I don't have to try to get the earbuds in my ear, and then I'm not connected to my phone, so I don't have to be like running on a treadmill and worry about pulling my phone off. So they're pretty amazing, you know. Awesome. And I love listening to podcasts, so sometimes when I'm driving I'll just have one in my ear so I can really hear the podcast but still pay attention to driving. So.
I know, right?
And I only do that when I'm alone, not with kids in the car.
It's a great segment on your show today on that. So the Morning Blend, how did you get here? Executive producer of the Morning Blend, a local show in Milwaukee that I love and am a huge fan of.
Well, thank you.
How did you get here?
So I was a producer called Special Projects, I guess, in the news department here at Channel 4. I had been here for probably like 10 years maybe, and I was on a committee of people who did special projects and created shows and talked about shows, and we started talking about this Morning Blend like show. It didn't have a name at the time, and so it was about a year in the making. My boss and I and a few other people looked at some shows similar across the country, and we just sort of developed this show. And actually, ironically, my husband picked the name of the show because we were on a trip and I was going through a list of about 100 names that a bunch of people had come up with, and he kind of put some things together, and came up with the name. And so then once we had the show, I thought, well, now I'll just go do my thing, and that show will go on. But they actually said, would you like to come and be part of it and be the executive producer of it? And at first I was like, I'm not sure, because I was used to doing programming that only aired a few times a year. You had 6 weeks to put together a show. The thought of doing a daily show again, because I had done news on a regular basis and I had done daily news shows, so I was really nervous, but I decided to go for it. Awesome. And it was probably the best decision I ever made. It's a great job. It's like
everyone's so laid back on the set and just very
and everybody
catched you on a good day.
Everybody's here. Everybody who is here on the staff, it's a small staff, but everybody is so happy to be here, and they're very passionate about their jobs.
They are. You feel it and you see it with the way that everybody's working, and that's really amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel you've reached the top, or do you want to move further?
That's a good question.
I feel you've reached the top. I think that's amazing.
Let's just say it's not that I don't have aspirations to do other things, because I do, but I feel like right now I love my job and it works well with my family. So right now I couldn't ask for anything better. So why try to ruin a good thing? You know?
Like be in the moment of the success you're in right now.
Exactly.
With the family and work life is nicely balanced.
Right.
And then how do you share your goals with the kids? Like, you're working hard and you're coming home and taking care of them. How do they know how to kind of shoot for the stars and reach their goals? How do you work with them on that?
Well, I always tell them you can be anything you want to be if you work hard. I haven't really had serious conversations with my boys that they're probably not going to be professional athletes. They're still kind of in that mode where they think they are. So I say, well, there's always, you need something to fall back on. Yeah. I always tell them just in case that doesn't work. And in fact, I had originally went to college to go to pharmacy school because my parents were really pushing me to go to med school. So I thought if I get a degree in pharmacy, it would be something to fall back on if I didn't get into med school. Well, news alert, 2 years in, I hated that idea.
Wow.
I hated the idea of going through this pharmacy program. And I had always admired my grandmother, who was a small town newspaper columnist. And then I decided I'm going to try journalism because I always liked broadcasting and pretending to be a DJ and writing, and it all kind of
fell into place.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how our mind takes us one route, but our heart takes us another? And do you feel you followed your heart?
Absolutely.
I think
yeah.
so too.
I think I did the right
That's
thing.
really cool.
Yeah.
So, well, anything you can say to encourage the moms out there to just keep moving, pressing on, and just what would you say to somebody that wants to just get out there and is kind of hesitant to make the move to reach their goals and kind of step away a little bit?
Well, I think, you know, there has to, as much as you try to do it all, you have to make some sacrifices. And, you know, there have been times when I made sacrifices, like maybe I didn't get to one of my kids' games, or I didn't get to one of their shows or projects that at school, you know, because I had to deal with my job. But I try to, you know, make up for it in other ways, and making sure that, like, I didn't get to this game, but I promise I'll be at this game on Saturday, you know, or things like that. Yeah, there is a give and take there, but I also think that, you know, you have to find what's right for you. And, you know, my kids, they get to, I let them come to my work, they see what I do, and they know that it's important, and that, you know, if I didn't work, they wouldn't maybe get to do some of the things they get to do, you know.
Right.
But I think everybody's different, and I think that's the most important thing, is that, you know, you can talk to other people and see how they do things, but in the end, it's going to be what works for you, and don't be afraid to do something different than maybe nobody else has done, or maybe it works for you. Might not work. What works for you might not work for my family, but that's okay.
Your gift of time today was amazing, and it was an honor
it.
It was an honor to be here. And
well, it's always fun to talk about mom and career,
right?
and I hope that, you know, we can talk again about it.
We will. So, mom, shed the chaos, keep the fun, and put a little morning blend in your day. Have a great day. I know Paul said he does the editing. I'm like, oh, really? I wish I had your skill. Okay, so Miss Kim, Tiffany and Molly set pretty high standards for being on a talk show. They're excellent, and I love you ladies. Do you feel that your viewers kind of give you help on things they want on the show, or do Tiffany and Molly kind of adjust to viewers' opinions and thoughts, or do you take into account different viewers?
We definitely love hearing from viewers, and especially whether it's positive or, you know, a constructive criticism, you know, we're open to that. You know, we spent many years developing the show, and so there's sort of like a, you know, there's like a business model, just like there would be for any business. So, you know, we do take suggestions, but it's, you know, there's certain things that have to stay within the parameters. So Molly and Tiffany have an amazing talent to be able to adjust to having upwards of 25 or 30 guests a week. And you know, you've seen them work, when you sit on the couch with them, you feel like you're the only person they've studied for the last week. They just are amazing.
They have a great dynamic. They're, you know, they can bounce back and forth excellent, and they really are amazing.
And I've never, in all the years I've been in TV, I've never met two people who truly are the same off camera. I mean, they have the same interaction.
As soon as the cameras went down, they're still chatting and they're still talking.
Yeah, they're friends off camera too, and I think that shows, you know.
It is really cool. It is really cool. And how do you get your guest hosts when they come in? How do you find them?
So, like, if Molly and Tiffany are off,
which they need a break once in a while.
Yes, they do have vacation time. So, we are very lucky in Milwaukee because we have a lot of former news anchors who have gone on to do other things, but they're happy to come back and fill in. We use a woman, Holly Sin, a lot, who moved here from Florida and did a exact same show like this in Florida, so she has a lot of experience with it. It's hard sometimes because it's not a news show.
Right.
So if you're used to doing news, it takes a few shows to
get the hang of it.
Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle talk show, but everyone does a great job that we have fill in, and it's fun to go find the fill-ins. And Amy Taylor, she was an anchor here at Channel 4 for a long time, and she's one of our favorite fill-ins as well. And so yeah, it's not hard. That part of my job is not hard.
Yeah. I think Connie Schneider may be a guest one day. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. Not really. But my next question was, how do you turn off? I am kidding. How do you turn off the? How do you turn off work when you get home? Do you turn off? Like, do you have like? We're at the table.
It's very difficult for someone like me to turn it off. I went through a period where right when I got home, I left my phone in my car, just so I wouldn't be tempted to look at it. And I will say, as your children get older, it's even harder because they have phones, and you have to set an example for them.
Yeah, yeah. We have people pounding down the door to meet you. Miss
Come on in.
Molly, hey, thank you for being with me today.
Oh, of course. I love that you came in to see the show. It's so cool.
Great. You did a great job today.
Thank you.
You do a great job every day, though. So Molly and I were talking with Miss Kim here on how balancing home life with work. And one of the questions I had asked Miss Kim is, when was the biggest challenge that you had between choosing a career choice and a home choice?
You know, I think, and I'm not sure if this is, you know, a smaller example than what you're talking about, but I think the hardest time as a working mom for me has been when my kids are sick, and making that choice between staying home and going to work and maybe having someone else watch them or whatever. That is really hard, and taking the time off of work is stressful. It's also stressful to have a sick kid.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the hardest. And my kids are older now, so I have less of that than I used to. But that's, I think, the trickiest part.
That's exactly what she said too. That has to be hard. And then communicating with the husband on which one of you are going to stay home with them and which one of you, you know, and you want to be with them when they're sick, because, I mean, no one does it like mom.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of times they want mom home. But for me, you know, my ex-husband is the one who, he works here. So that's one nice advantage in terms of communication, is that we can kind of work things out and be like, okay, so-and-so needs to be picked up from school and he's sick or she's sick. Can you do this? And so there's a huge benefit to us being so close in proximity. And we have a really good working parenting relationship. I was going to say that's still a good, you know, a good parenting team. Yeah. Exactly.
Because it is, you're in that business of raising kids almost, where you do have to balance it out.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you feel you've reached the peak in your career?
That's a fascinating question. So I hate thinking of things being at a peak, because then it seems like it's a downhill progression after that. But I will say this, to me, the peak in my career, so I would say yes, and the reason is because of how I define success and what I think it is I'd like to be doing. My goal, even when I was in school, was to work into a medium to major market. Milwaukee certainly is that. I started out in news, in investigative reporting, and then I was an anchor and did morning news. But it was a really tricky balance to have a family and to have that job. And now, I have a great schedule. The show is, 9 to 10 a.m. It's live. I'm home before my kids get home from school. I leave about the same time they do. I like the people I meet on the show. I like the people that I work with, and I really like my job. So yeah, I mean, so that the way that I define success, I would say yes, it's a peak, and I hope it's a peak that continues.
And it is just a matter of being right where you are right now and enjoying the moment that you're in, and embracing that as well.
Absolutely.
So, well, I know you're going to be going off to lunch pretty soon. I don't want to keep any more, but thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Blends.
And I'm just starting a podcast. It's called Mother Talkers, and we record like once a month or so. So I'd love for you to come back sometime and chat with me.
That would be really
fun.
I
would love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day is payday. Swipe my card, then I do the nay-nay. You're talking to a late date. I wanna Kanye.